Well, let's get straight to the discussion for today. The first talking point, which is about the Union Bank takeover. Union Bank PLC recently said it had completed its core investor sale of a majority stakeholding to Titan Trust Bank Limited, a subsidiary of TGI Group. That's a Titan General Investment Group. It said it effectively transferred 93.41% of Union Bank's issued share capital to TTB. In a statement to the Nigerian Exchange Limited signed by the bank's company secretary, Shomuyiwa Shonubi, there was a board change that resulted to the resignation of directors. And so we ask what is likely to change going forward in the operations of the bank and the new owners. All right, joining us for further analysis now is Mr. Kasimu Garubakefi, MD CEO, APT Securities and Mutual Funds Limited. He joins us virtually. Thank you for your time, Mr. Kasimu.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah. Now, let me begin what's your position concerning the takeover of a more than a century-old bank, Union Bank of Nigeria? Let's start from there.
Well, this is not surprising because we can say this is the second time. Remember Crystal Bank, which was changed to Standard Trust Bank, acquired UBA by Tony Elumelu. So that happened in the past, and we have seen the drastic change of UBA by the Standard Trust Bank when it acquired UBA. So we expect a reputation for the Union Bank. Because really, if you look at Union Bank was the last bank to even introduce ATM for being left behind. Now that TT Bank has taken it, we are expecting a drastic change as we witness in the UBA that is likely going to happen in the Union Bank.
So, I mean, some have considered it as, you said this is not the first time, but some say yes, it's one of the biggest acquisition in the banking history. So how are investors reacting to this particular development?
Well, when you look at it, the investors are just a mere minority because acquiring 89%, you are left with 11%. So who are the minority? The minority are 11%. They are not very much relevant. Yet, they are relevant in the sense that because this company, a bank is a quoted company, so there is the interest of the exchange, both the Nigerian Exchange and the Security and Exchange Commissions, aside the CBN. But we believe that it's just like a total takeover of the bank. Whoever owns 89% can decide, even from his bedroom, to decide whatever for the bank. And nobody can challenge it because he has more than 75% that give him the ultimate.
I mean, that's, I need to, just to be clear, some investors, shareholders, Nigerians, the question they are asking, yes, this is not about emotion. It doesn't, no emotion when it comes to business, of course. But one wonders, a 2-year bank, we just, beginning operation, just barely 2 years or barely 3 years in operations, taking over 100-years-old bank. I mean, one wonders what's going on and where's the money coming from? Who are behind the investors or behind the TTB? So one wants to wonder and get to know exactly what's it's going on.
You will not be wonder because when you look at the directors, that are coming, you can see they are Nigerians and they have the pedigree. So therefore, by even looking at the directors, you know that they are in the position that they can acquire it. Let me tell you, by the time Standard Trust Bank acquired UBA, nobody knows Tony Elumelu. But today, what it is. So as long as there is regulators who make sure they have done their due diligence, I believe CBN must have done their due diligence and ensure that they have the capacity and ability to turn around the bank. Remember, they are not the only one that bid for this bank. From the information we had, Access Bank have tried, Zenith Bank have tried. And we all know the position of the two banks. Yet, CBN decided to choose this bank, not the other two. It means they must have been done their due diligence and assured and guarantee that the bank will turn around for the better.
Let's look at the kind of model of business or operations that this will take. Seeing that the Titan Trust Bank is just barely 3 years in operations or in the sector, let's look at the model of business and what is likely to change going forward.
Well, what is likely going to change is that the top management, because definitely sure this guy must have identified the people to work with. And that is why you see the sudden resignation of the entire directors. All the directors have resigned, not a single one. So what it means that there is going to have change of the directors. And this invariably will affect the top management. But the middle color and the rest of staff, nothing change will come to them. Because the Titan Bank is nowhere to be found. So it doesn't have those kind of staff that will replace the existing one. What we are likely going to expect is the overhaul of the entire Union Bank staff. Because most of those who have worked for 20, 30 years are likely going to be replaced by young, energetic, and dynamic. And that's what happened to UBA. We remember when UBA Standard Trust took over UBA. Standard Trust doesn't even have 1/10 of the staff of UBA. But what Tony did, they overhauled the entire UBA staff. Most of those that spent 20 years and above were asked to resign, and they employ young and dynamic, which translates to UBA to what it is today. This is what is likely going to happen in Union Bank. Remember, Union Bank is one of the oldest banks, so they must have a lot of staff that spend 20, 30 years already in the bank. They may not ask them to go immediately, but be rest assured, it's a matter of time, they will employ young and dynamic that are very energetic that will replace most of the old cargoes. And this cannot be taken away from the Titan Bank because that is the tradition.
So well, we're looking at, for instance, we're looking at the Workforce Union Bank, but then this suggests that there's going to be mass sack, mass retrenchment, and of course
not immediately, because you cannot do that one. You need to first study the bank, analyze the staff currently, find the strengths and the weaknesses. Then those that you identify you cannot, then you now give them a package that they can go. Don't forget, these are all banks that have union. If you decided to sack them, they can shut you down. So I believe they will not do that. They will work with them and study them and understand those who have something to offer for the bank, retain them, and those who they believe that their best has done, they may advise them or give them a packet to set out. This will come gradual, but not immediately.
Because the figures I'm having, at hand is about the bank probably has over 75,000 employees. In its workforce. How do you manage such, such number of employees and be able to integrate them into the new model of business or banking operation that you intend? That's one. Then secondly, Titan Trust Bank also said that it's planning to mature into Tier 1 bank in the next 5 years. For a bank that is just barely coming into the sector, how do they intend to do that? Do they have the ability?
You see, these are the banks are already in that position. Today, if you look across the nation, look at the network, the branch network of the Union Bank. And don't forget that an average client of Union Bank are very conservatives. These are not the client that you can ask them go to the new bank. They are all timer, all business people, and they have been working with the bank without any issues. And therefore, they are not willing or ready to change to another bank. So because of this attitude, It will make life very much easier. And the Titan Bank need the current staff who understand their customers and they understand their working. It's not a complete change because Titan Bank, how many are they? They are not up to 5% of the current staff of Union Bank. So they have to work with this. What they will do, they will study them, identify those who doesn't have much value to add it, and they will give them a package way out or massive sack. But for those who will not add value, they have to continue with the existing staff of Union Bank because of their size and the understanding of the business. And these are the people that the customers know better. So they need them. But really, those that have little value to add it to the bank, be rest assured it's just a matter of time they will be asked to go. And before you do that, you must have recruit those who are going to replace them. Because it's not that you sack them and you have something on the ground. They don't have. They have to punch from the existing banks.
I mean, how do you I asked a question earlier about how they intend to manage these employees. Yes, of course, it would require time to process and be able to integrate them into this new modem. All right. I mean, I need you to speak to that as well. Did I say 75,000 earlier? I think it's about 5,000 staff
yes,
that they have in their workforce.
Even despite the size, the bank is making profit. Meaning that the bank is in the position, ability to pay the existing staff salary and still declare something. So it's not that they are in a comatose or they are in losses. They are in profit even now. As I'm talking to you, they are in profit. What it means that whatever the size of their staff, they are able to carry them along and pay their salary. So what they need to do is to continue where they are today, but they have to overhaul them, identify those that have little value, ask them to go and review the salary so that it will attract the newcomers from the other bank, punch and bring them into this with a new ideology, and they will carry along. It was done in UBA and it was very successful. So I believe they will repeat the same in Union Bank.
I want us to look at the incoming chief executive officer. Let's just take a look at their profile. For instance, the bank appointed Mr. Mudasiru Amri as the chief executive officer and Mr. Farouk Mohammed Gumen as the bank's chairman effective June. Talk to us about the chief executive officer and of course the chairman as well. I need you to speak to their CV and their qualification as well, what they are bringing to the table. Do you think they have the capacity to move the bank to where the investors or the major owners of this bank want the bank to be in the next 5 years?
I believe they have, because then forget this is a regulated industry. CBN must have analyzed their CV and must have seen their capability and ability to move around. If they don't have that one, CBN will not even approve this transaction to go there. And I look at it, if you look at the former directors, they are just like one-sided. When you look at the composition of the directors currently, you see that it's more of balance. So it cut across. So I believe that with a balanced body, directors, they will be able to take the bank to a better side. I have no doubt over their capability. And when I look at their quality and their position, when I look at that of what happened to Tony when he took over UBA, I can tell you that this one has a more balanced, more dynamic, experience and exposed director than that of the Standard Trust when it took the UBA. I remember who were the directors of UBA at that time. The Tony, the Chipundu, I can name them. Some of them have not even had banking experience. Yet they were able to turn it around. But these are the people who have been tested and have worked. And I believe that they have the capability and ability to turn around the Union Bank.
Let's look at, depositors fund now. Yes, we understand that this is not that the bank is liquidated, but a major takeover. And so Are there fears? There seems to be some concerns about depositors' fund and again, the minority stakeholders in the bank as well. I need you to talk to that as well. What is likely to change going forward?
For the depositors' bank, they have no fear because one, there is NDIC, Nigerian Deposit Insurance Company, which insure every depositor. Two, there is CBN. The central bank is the FX regulator of the banking sector, and they are more concerned of the depositors' money than anyone else. We have seen it, they demonstrated in the past. Where they don't have the capability and ability, they take over the bank. Where they are sure that they have the capability and ability, they give them the chance. So I believe CBN will not hold their arms. They will watch and see how things work. And if it worked well, they allowed it. If it did not, they can take over the bank, which I believe they will not do it because they are sure that these people have the capability to do that. As regard to the minority shareholder, the option is two. One, since the bank already have 89%, they can decide to acquire the remaining 11% so that they reduce the bank into a minority bank. And if they do that, what it means that the minority shareholders, they have the opportunity to sell their share price. Hello,
Mr. Kofi. Well, I guess we have a bit of connection challenge with Mr. Kofi there. Perhaps we'll have to bring him back when we get in, of course, but we're still looking at the takeover of Union Bank by Titan Bank. Titan Trust Bank took over Union Bank in a move of what is considered to be one of the biggest acquisitions in the Nigerian banking history. Mr. Kasimu Garuba is still with me online talking about this. Yes, let's continue from where you stopped.
What I'm saying for the minority shareholders, if the Titan Bank decided to acquire them and reduce the bank into a limited company, they have no choice than to acquire it at the same price they acquire the majority shareholder, that is at 7 naira 20 kobo. And if they do that, the minority shareholder will be a win-win situation. Selling their share at 7 naira 20 kobo is at a premium because currently it's trading around 6 naira 35 kobo. So you gain more than 15% over and above the market price. And that is very possible for Titan Bank if they so wish. Alternatively, they can leave them as a minority shareholder and continue. With the 89, there is nothing you can do about it because they own everything.
Okay. Just before we wrap up, yes, because the reason why I asked that question is the concern about their protection of investment. But now that you have talked about that, but going forward, perhaps we're going to see some of the branches of Union Bank being changed to Titan Trust Bank going forward. Yes, at the moment, Titan Trust Bank seems to have about just 2 branches across the country.
I don't think they need to do that.
Okay.
Union Bank is a good brand and they can hold it. Because today, if you take Titan Bank and you decided to change Union Bank into Titan Bank, you are going to cost a lot of money for branding and you have to do a lot of selling for marketing. So I expect that the name will remain as Union Bank. Remember, when Standard Trust acquired UBA, they maintained the name of UBA. They only changed the logo. That's what they did because they know that Standard Trust is not known to the nation compared to UBA. The same thing with Union Bank. Union Bank is known for a decade, so I don't think Titan Bank will change the name into Titan Bank. They can continue with the Union Bank. Probably if they are not satisfied with the logo, they can change the logo, or they can maintain it and continue. And that's what UBA did. All what they need to make money, and they can make money. What they need to do is to overhaul the system and bring it to the latest challenge as acquired by the recent bank. Because if you look at what is obtained in the Zenith, in the GT, and most of the young generation bank, the Union Bank can be transformed into that level. First Bank have done it, and they are working. So Union Bank can do it, and it will work. Don't forget, it's the same UBA with the same name. And today, They are one of the darling banks across 17 countries in Africa.
Okay. I think we'll have to leave it there. Thank you so much for your insights on this particular discussion. Mr. Kasimu Garba Kofi is MD, CEO, APT Securities and Mutual Funds Limited. Thank you for your time on Business Breakfast.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah.